Well, it just because they understand the art and the science of tag team wrestling, and they veterans and guys who've been around the business for a while, people who've been involved in training, and just the practitioners of the art can sit there and tell you when a guy knows how to work by the way that he locks up when he starts the match, but by the little things, the way he moves around in the ring, how he knows where he is at all times. Those guys are throwbacks to technicians of 30 years ago that, because they're, once again, they grew up on Carolina's wrestling, and they studied it, and they were fans and disciples, and they study the tapes to this day. But they concentrate on making sure that they close up all their loopholes. All the any loopholes in the logic of their match is closed up. Their shit looks good. They take the people on a ride up and down. They even make tags the right way. You know, I see these bogus ass tag teams on supposed national television, and they're tagging each other by slapping each other on the back on the shoulder blade, or touching the guy's toe of his boot, or standing up on the bottom rope leaning over. And so it's refreshing to see guys that always tag hand to hand, but can do it from anywhere, and throw in the blind tags and the little do-si-dos and things that just makes tag team wrestling fun and exciting, and the art of it, and the distractions and the double team moves. You know, they've got everything. It's in another atmosphere where the promotion sold tag team wrestling on a par with singles wrestling. They would be in main events. They're just in the WWE, where unfortunately it's a, middle of the card thing.
It is great and refreshing how kind of old school they are, how good they are. Like you said, they know how to do double teams. They know, the psychology of things. And I always, watching them, think back, obviously on Tully, but Midnight Express, those double team moves, wrestling the match as a team, doing tag team maneuvers. Does that take a lot of more psychology, the fact that it's four guys working together rather than two? I mean, that's kind of an obvious question, but I feel like so many tag teams out there wrestle kind of singles matches, if you know what I mean. They don't quite get it.
Well, yeah. It's not, it doesn't take more psychology. It's just a different kind. And that's, unfortunately, but what a lot of guys who don't have a lot of experience these days in tag team wrestling, but then sometimes they're just thrown together with a guy as partners, but two guys will wrestle, one from each team, and they'll do some things. And then another guy gets in and he's doing a different thing than his partner was. And there's no cohesion, and it doesn't really gel as a match, because they're not working together as a team. Psychology of tag team wrestling is different than singles. But that's why, a lot of the guys in the 80s, that's why Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey were so good instantly together. That's why Stan Lane came in after he'd had a top team with Steve Keirn. He comes in and replaces Dennis Condrey in the Midnight Express, and they didn't really miss a beat, because those guys had all worked the Tennessee territory. Tag team wrestling in the South was a huge attraction, and they all knew how to work a tag team match. It didn't have to be just with that specific partner. If you're a good tag team wrestler, you can adapt. And Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson were the same way, because Robert Gibson's brother, Ricky, his older brother, they'd been a team since Robert was 18 years old, and Ricky Gibson was one of the best babyface wrestlers I've ever seen in his youth before injuries and etc. Those guys, they were all involved in tag teams. Ricky Morton had teamed up with Ken Lucas, and before that, Eddie Gilbert, when he first got in wrestling. So, it's a different psychology, but if you know it, you can adapt to a good partner who knows the same kind of stuff.